Hey, good morning. Good warm morning. Just got done with a great walk, and it is a warm one. As I was walking, I was thinking about something, and it was the idea of negative thinking. And just as I work with clients over the years, and as I see people, one of the things that really stands out is how we all just ruminate at times over these negative thoughts. 90% of them really aren't going to happen. More than half the time, I think the facts are false, but yet we allow ourselves to ruminate on these things. And that rumination, just can lead to some really negative thinking. And as leaders, that's the kind of thinking that really gets us into trouble with a lot of emotional intelligence issues, leadership issues that, where people do not want to be around a leader like that for sure. So it's what the way that I feel that you can really get a hold of that kind of thinking and really put it to rest is to start with good inner core questions. And just one very simple question is, what kind of a leader do you want to be? What kind of mom do you want to be? What kind of father do you want to be? What kind of brother do you want to be, or friend do you want to be? And when you start with a question like that, that will help you then lead to what are the behaviors that it would take to be the leader that you want to be. And over time, when you consistently practice those behaviors, of course, that's an identity, a positive identity that I'm sure that you would like to have. I know I would like to have, but that's not the case many times when people start with these negative ruminating thoughts. Our thinking determines, how we feel, and how we feel determines how we act. And therein lies the problem, because many times how we feel in that moment is maybe like a victim. Maybe we're angry, we're frustrated, and then what can happen? We start to take that out onto people, and we show that anger. And over time, we start to develop that negative identity, and then that's where maybe the coach comes in, if you will, where we're engaged, and not all the time, but where we do some of our work. So if you just think about this in terms of this little model: feelings, actions, identity. The feelings of frustration and anger, our actions are that we take that out on our direct reports, or we take that out on our kids, or we take that out on our friends, in real negative ways. And again, over time, that identity starts to build. But when we start with identity, what kind of a leader that we want to be, and then we start to identify the positive actions, then those actions lead to feelings. So the question is, what kind of leader do you want to be? And that's the formulation of that identity. And again, your actions, the positive actions that you want to take, and those good feelings will follow. I'm reminded also, just one more thought, a book that I read many, many years ago by Maxwell Maltz, Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He's a plastic surgeon, and he would do these surgeries on these people. They wanted things done to their faces, and so, they think, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to look better. He does the surgeries. And he noticed many times that the case was they didn't feel better about themselves. And there was a line in his book, and I've never forgotten it: people act, feel, and perform in accordance with what they imagine to be true about themselves and their environment. What they imagine to be true about themselves and their environment. And that goes back to that whole thing again, is what we start to build up in our brains, is what we start to ruminate on and what we start to imagine. So my challenge for you today is start with that inner core question, that start with that identity first. What kind of leader do I want to be? And develop a good set of behaviors that you can practice one step at a time, 1,000 little nuances over the next year. And before you know it, you've got an identity where people want to get on the other side of that fence, take a closer look at you, and want to follow. They want to follow a good leader. Hey, you have a terrific day. This is Pete Kunk, Built to Lead. See you next week.